What we're going to... And those bots are just dancing. There are no wires. Those are actual robots. Thanks, guys. First of all, I'd like the shareholder votes. I super appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Annual shareholder meeting? I mean, honestly, it's like, if you need to go to sleep, sure. But other shareholder meetings are like snooze fest. But ours are bangers. Look at this. This is sick. Jim Cameron's movies, but you know what I mean. So, and some of these things I say will obviously be taken out of context and used in snippets and sent around, but whatever. I still want to say, I think we may be able to give people a more, if somebody's committed a crime, a more humane form of containment of future crime, which is if you say like you now get a free Optimus and it's just going to follow you around and stop you from doing crime. But other than that, you get to do anything. It's just going to stop you from committing crime. That's really it. Sci-fi future are the in-banks books, the culture books. So if you're curious, like what do I think the future is probably like? I think it's probably a bit like that. Asimov to some degree, but I think it's and Heinlein. In banks, if you're like saying what does Elon think the future probably will be like for AI and robots, it's kind of Banksian. And maybe they won't even be money in the future, or money but might be measured in terms of wattage, like how much power can you bring to bear from an electrical standpoint. I guess what I'm saying is hang on to your Tesla stock. Oh, yeah. It's like just sitting there on the couch, and you try to tell people that the cat can actually, it's actually Puss in Boots, and it can actually put on boots and a hat and swashbuckle and sing and dance. And people are like, no way, man, that's a cat. Until the cat does all those things. And you're like, damn, what the? We've got, millions of Tesla cars out there that are kind of like Puss in Boots, they're intelligent, but people don't know that they're intelligent.
That's true.
They look like normal cars, but actually they're super smart and can drive themselves. So I think that's probably the single biggest thing we need to do is to educate potential customers that you can either have a car, you can either have a cat that's like normal cat, or you can have Puss in Boots. And Puss in Boots is very cool. These days when people come to our stores, or even people that have the car, haven't turned it on, we find. And sometimes people have paid for FSD and haven't turned it on. We're like, what? You should at least try it once. So now the sales team, the service team will actually sit with customers and say, look, let us show you how it works and how easy it is. And then once they've tried it for even just a few days, they can't live without it. And now with version 14, I've had these like crazy conversations with regulators that seem like a Franz Kafka novel, where I'm like, well, look, we have billions of kilometers of data that shows that FSD increases safety, And they're like, well, we have to have all these committee meetings. I'm like, yeah, but people's lives are at stake here. So definitely a pressure from our customers in Europe to push the regulators to approve would be appreciated. It's closer to a high volume consumer electronics device than it is a car manufacturing line. So the net result is that I think we should be able to achieve ultimately less than a 10-second cycle time, basically a unit every 10 seconds. Maybe ultimately take a few years to get there, but it's theoretically possible to get to a 5-second production time. And so what that would mean is you could get on a line that would normally produce, say, 500,000 cars a year at a 1-minute cycle time, like Model Y, this would be maybe as much as 2 or 3 million. Maybe ultimately, it's theoretically possible to achieve a 5 million unit production line if you can get to the 5-second cycle time. So it will seem as though that there's someone like a person in a robot outfit, which is how we started with Optimus. It really is going to be something special. And then Optimus 4, that hopefully starts production in 27, and then Optimus 5 in 28. So it's kind of like an annual release cycle with significant improvements with each one, and gigantic increases in the scale of production. So, yeah, so sustainable abundance via AI and robotics. That's the future we're headed for. Power is necessarily the future. And I think there's going to be a lot of solar-powered AI satellites. And I think Tesla's going to play a role in that. It's not like we're slowing down because we want to slow down. It's like we're very cool, because I think aesthetically as well, it just would change things. Thank you, everyone out there.
In general. So we've got a couple of questions many of us are asking. Like, we want to know, many of us think you are one of the most consequential business people on earth ever. And we want to understand, how do you think? Like, for example, like a couple of them, how did you know in the master plan part 2, this is like 2018 or something like that, you calculated at that point it takes 6 billion miles of FSD miles driven before maybe the world, the regulatory, would approve it? And then the second is, like, when you were deciding if Tesla's going to have...
In terms of the estimates, like for the self-driving stuff, I generally try to get things to within an order of magnitude. It's at some very small ones. So almost all of this is organic. So I built the chip team from scratch, and the AI team from scratch. It was just because it became a limiting factor. So for hardware 2, we used NVIDIA, but NVIDIA was at that time focused on making really AI server.